Welcome back. We appreciate so much Ray Wood spending some time with us. And we don't get away from that talk about what's being made here in the Toledo area, Northwest Ohio for that matter. We've assembled a team here together on the Roundtable to talk more about some retraining work that's going into Northwest Ohio's workforce. We're glad to have Brian Paskvan from Owens Community College with us to talk a little bit about this program. And we have brought with us as well David Marafuso. He is from Tire Man Auto Service Centers. Thank you for being here, David.
Thank you for having me.
And also Colleen Neidert. She is from Principal Business Enterprises, Director of Human Resources and Administrative Services. All of you, welcome to the Roundtable. Brian, let's start off talking about what Owens is trying to do in this. I guess it's kind of training, assisting business, or is it vice versa, or is it both?
It's a little bit of both, Jeff,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. We work with companies all over the region. Last year we trained about 8,500 people. We worked with over 100 companies, just looking at all the different aspects of what their needs are. We're looking at retraining workers that are already incumbent to the companies. We're looking at training new workers for them. For example, we had a call the other day of a company that needs 100 welders. So we're looking at ways to get them those 100 welders, whether or not it be going into our classes, our welding classes, and advertising that, or working on training their current employees to step up their skill set, or working with people that are currently unemployed to try to get them the skill set to go in and do that type of job. So it's a little bit of everything, but we've really worked very hard to get out into the community to work with the different communities and companies to meet their needs.
This isn't a new program by any stretch.
Not by any stretch. The company,
but it's growing.
Owens has been doing workforce training for many, many years. Officially, in the 90s is when it really kicked off and revved that up to that level. But we have probably 15 employees in this particular division that just does this particular aspect of it. So it's our Workforce and Community Services division, and they're really geared towards working with companies, getting their training needs met.
Why has it been so amped up? I think I know the answer to this, but over the last few years, obviously the economy has kind of, I guess, sown the seed as far as a lot of our employment in the region, around the country for that matter. I mean, this may be a tune that's being played out all over the country by community colleges.
Well, there's a number of different issues probably at play here. One is that you saw the economic downturn in the 8, 7, 9, right around that time point. Many people didn't retire, so we're also very concerned about what's going to happen here as a second brain drain, what we call it. And we're going to see a lot of people exit out of companies, and we're going to have a significant skills gap that's going to exist, and all of the knowledge that's going to go out of the companies at that point in time. So we're working very hard with companies to make sure that they have the workforce that they're going to need to replace. We talked to one organization that employs about 1,000 people, but they're going to have 150 employees retire over the next 3 years. So
just because they're comfortable now here in 2014 that they can do it?
Yes, because their 401ks have kind of rebounded. They have the ability now to retire. They know a little bit more stability with the economy. And they just delayed that for many, many years. But the knowledge that's going to exit out at that point in time is going to be astronomical. So we're trying to work with companies to make sure that they have their employment needs or their skill needs met over the next several years.
We talked about that manufacturing base in our first segment, and Colleen, I wanted to bring you in here as we talk about Principal Business Enterprises. You said it's a very maybe unfamiliar name to our viewing public, but you do have a brand out there that people may recognize and have probably driven by, yes?
Yes, probably most people say, oh, that's what you do. We're off 75 just south of Toledo. We are...
the side of the building reads?
Tranquility.
Tranquility.
Yeah, Tranquility brand is our incontinence brand, and we make adult undergarments, incontinence products, and related products, among other things, but that's our major product line.
Talk about bringing workers in. I think one of the things that Brian touched on that really kind of hit home for me was we've done so many stories on the workforce out there that exists that can't find work or needs to be retrained because they're in a transitional period still. We've seen this over the last 5, 6 years. Do you find that with your workforce, or the fact that you're going to places like OCC and saying, we need workers to do X, Y, and Z?
Well, yes and yes to both. First, Owens has been an amazing partner for us in terms of helping us to move our workforce along in the skills they're going to need, not just because of succession or having to plan for people who are leaving our building, to retire, but also just growth and keeping up with the technology changes and the changes that you have to keep up with, the core competencies of employees who execute on your annual plan and continue to make us competitive in our market. When you have a focus of quality products and also excellent customer service, those are two promises you make to your market, and you have to build that within your workforce to deliver on that. So what are we seeing? What are our needs? Brian and I were both present when Sherry Brown was here a couple of months ago, I believe, and there were a number of employers from the area, and we all talked about the soft skills, employability skills, communication, teaming, collaboration, accuracy, detail-oriented, as well as some of the technical skills that our employees need to have as we move forward. And I think besides succession, as we talked about, the economy has rebounded, and most companies in this area are going to experience growth and therefore need new employees to come in and continue to train their employees they have.
When we talk about that training, and you brought it up, kind of alluded to it, I wanted to show people at home the focus areas that Owens really hits in on. And you mentioned soft skills, behavioral communication, productivity skills, technical skills as well, certificates, just getting those issued, obviously, and licensures, courses leading to the granting of license to practice specific skill or service. David, when we talk about our first segment today, we were talking about how tough the job market still is, that you can't just, in this day and age, hit the ground running, go willy-nilly into a job front and say, I want a job, I'll start tomorrow. There is a learning curve.
Definitely a learning curve in our business. We have found out that over the years, there are a lot of really good young applicants out there that would love to get in our business, but they just don't have those skills. So we developed a program at our company that allows them to try it out. We have the ability to watch them work and see if they have those skills.
Like an internship, essentially?
That's generally exactly what it is. And it gives them a chance to try it out and see if they like it. It gives us a chance to monitor them, watch them, and see if they actually have those skills. And if they do, we put them to work. And they get excited for working for us because they've tried to go out to other places like ours that do not have a training program, and they get turned down because they have no skills. But we're willing to bring those kids in and train them. And once they do that, they become very loyal to us. Yeah. And it's a great workforce.
Yeah, and there definitely, do you see barriers to getting that good workforce in? I mean, when places, I guess, businesses like yours are calling Owens and saying, we need a certain skill set here, we need a certain skill set there. Is that you? Is that Tireman? Is that you going out there and saying, we need to fulfill these gaps?
We are going to Owens, and actually I sit on an advisory committee for Owens, and one of the things that I told them a while back was we need a program, we need a class that teaches these young applicants that are coming in how to go out and find a job. That's the soft skills that we were talking about. They don't have that at this point. So we like to go
Elaborate on that a little bit. What do you mean by that? Just go out and find a job.
The soft skills are when a young applicant goes out and tries and find a job, he does not have the ability to understand what to say in an interview, how to dress, how to act, how to communicate with the person he's interviewing with. Generally, he's not prepared to come in and talk to us. Yeah. And Owens and many other companies are starting to develop a program where they are teaching these young applicants out there in the workforce to go out and find a job, because it's a lot more difficult now, and the jobs are not as prevalent, and they need those skills.
You got to have that social skill set, is what he's saying, really.
Yeah, the soft skills are extremely important to get out there. It's just everything from knowing that you need to be on time, show up for work, the dependability, many of the things that Colleen talked about earlier, the communication skills, again, how to dress and present yourself in an interview. All of those are extremely important skill sets that students really are. I say students, but potential employees need as they work through the process.
Colleen, one of the things before we came on today, we were talking about the importance of manufacturing in Northwest Ohio, not just specific areas of Toledo where we see auto manufacturing. You're a big believer in the fact that there's so much manufacturing here that it's happening kind of under the blanket of, I guess, people's knowledge. They don't realize how much is going on.
Absolutely. You know, I was saying earlier that my father raised a huge family on a manufacturing job, and wonderful work, wonderful contributions to the company, wonderful benefits that most manufacturing jobs have today in Northwest Ohio. And those companies, our companies manufacturing, want to bring somebody in and develop them over time. That is a real plus for everybody involved. Everybody gets served by that, the employee, the employer, and our community, for being able to, and I think you said in your earlier segment, building a brand of Northwest Ohio. This kind of, you know, that focus on these elements of employment and quality and workforce development can really say something about Northwest Ohio and be a real calling card for employers.
I'm going to have to let that be the last word. Thank you all for taking the time to talk to us here on the Roundtable today. If you want more information about Owens Community College and its programs, you can go to owens.edu. We'll be right back.